am the most excited about is a song called All Too Well, in parentheses, the 10-minute version.
Yeah.
There's a song called All Too Well that was never a single. You guys are really, this is very nice what you're doing out there.
So this song is the song that, it's weird because I feel like this song has two lives to it in my brain. In my brain, there's the life of this song where this song was born out of catharsis and venting and trying to get over something and trying to understand it and process it.
When it came out on the album, like slowly but surely over the course of that album's life and then beyond, you know, you guys have made that song something that was way more than I ever thought the life of that song would be.
And it's a song that originally it was a song that like every time I played I'd be like, ugh, like, ow.
The only person who's ever felt that way. And you feel completely alone in that moment. And
I just was really upset and sad, and everybody could tell. It was like really like not fun to be around me that day.
And when I used to get so sad when I would sing it that I could barely like get through the song.
And then there's the life where it went out into the world and you turned this song into something completely different for me. You turned this song into a collage of memories of watching you scream the words.
And like, I've just had so much fun playing it in concert and like screaming it with you guys. Like.
And now I play it and I think of like the times I've played it in a stadium or an arena or my living room with you guys screaming the words back to me.
This is all about what the fans have turned this song. And then over time, I realized the fans were just like screaming the words back to me so loudly that it made it a very joyful experience for me to sing this song. And since it has been a joyful thing for me to sing, I play it all the time in concert, and it's just so fun to hear them scream the words.
Or seeing pictures that you post to me of you having written the words to this song in your diary, or you showing me your wrist and you have a tattoo of the lyrics to this song underneath your skin, and that is how you have changed the song All Too Well for me.
so I guess what I'm trying to say to you now is thank you for taking those collections of moments where I felt really, really alone and memorizing the words to them and singing them back to me in a concert, so I really don't feel alone anymore.
And so it changed it, and I wanted to thank you for changing it because it's kind of nice to sing a song that you're proud of but not feel pain while you sing it.
There's one song that like I'm particularly proud of because when the Red album came out, there was this one song on the album that I was like, I'm the only one who loves this song this much, but it's only because it happened to me and it was personal. No one else is gonna like All Too Well.
So there's a song that I wrote that that thankfully you guys seem to like.
It's a song that I think, not trying to be like presumptuous, but I think it was one of your favorite songs off of my album Red.
Basically, when I was writing the Red album, I knew I had a favorite on the album, and it was a song called All Too Well. But oftentimes, my personal favorites don't line up with songs that end up being singles or having videos. I always just have these favorites where I'm like, that one's just my favorite. Yeah. But what happened on this album was this song became the fans' favorite on its own. My favorite and their favorite song aligned.
Yeah.
This song was never a single, it never had a video, and somehow the fans just turned it into the song from this album. Never a single, it never had a video, it never had a visual element to it, but they pretty much created their own imaginary cinematic universe for it. So this is just me following through on what they've started and what they've told me that they want, because they've given me so much in my life that I just wanted to create something that would make them happy and kind of fulfill that idealization of the song.
I think the most memorable performance for me of this song was on the Grammys a couple years ago. It was never a single, but you seemed to want me to play it more than any other song, so I did.
Yeah, so the fact that the song went out into the world and you guys like made it so that it's like always, I think it's usually #1 on any list that's like saying what my songs are, which is great, and I'm happy that like my opinion lines up with your opinion on that, because that was probably my favorite song on Red.
One of them comes from the lucky one, 1313, who wanted to know which song on Red was the hardest to write emotionally.
The song All Too Well was the hardest to write because it took me a long time to filter through everything that I wanted to put in the song.
To write a song, the main goal is just to say exactly what I'm feeling at the time that I'm feeling it.
And the way that this song was written was, I was going through a bit of a sad time, and I was 22, and I was in band rehearsals, and what I was going through and what I was feeling, and it went on, and the song kept building and building and building in intensity.
And I was just like, I couldn't stop.
Started out being probably like a 10-minute song, which you can't put on an album.
And the song just went on for about, 10 to 15 minutes of us doing this.
So this song originally was, it's a very long song as it is, but it was originally 10 minutes long. But I was like, oh, you gotta fit something on an album, so that's unreasonable.
Before I had to cut it down to a normal length song, because that's,
Yeah, in case it gets played on the radio or whatever.
Because 10 minutes is absurd. That's an absurd length of time for a song.
It's like
to
American
be.
Pie or something.
Who
Yeah, it's
thinks
a long.
that they can put out a 10-minute song? I mean,
And I had to filter it down to like a story that could work in the form of a song. And I called my friend and co-writer Liz Rose, and I said, come over, we've got to filter this down.
And so I had to cut out certain verses and parts of the bridge and lots of different things that I really loved. Left some of my favorite lines on the cutting room floor.
It took me a really long time to get it to its final form.
So in some ways,
So proud of this version of it. I think this version is the version of the song that was meant to be heard.
the 10-minute version of All Too Well is what was originally written.
We want a
Clearly me.
10-minute song from you. We
Oh.
want this from you.
Well, thanks. And that's what you'll get, and that's the thing I'm the most excited about, because it's the original lyrics.
A lot of times, I write songs in order to cope or to forget someone. And to think about trying to forget someone, it's just the most complicated thing you can try to do. So it's hard to write how you feel about trying to forget someone when you don't even know how you feel half the time, so how could you write about it? I guess in the case of this song, I decided instead of trying to write how I felt, I would just write down the story from beginning to end, because I remembered it all too well.
With that in mind, this is called All Too Well.